We waited for about 2 hours. A second group of new arrivals joined us. The rain had become heavier, and we were all streaming with water. Quite nearby, we could see a row of huts with firm roofs and weather-tight windows, to which men were being sent in groups of 20. We waited expectantly, certain that we were living through the last of our miseries. The fellows who went into the huts weren't coming out again. They must already be sleeping on soft beds, the lucky bastards. An hour later it was my turn, along with 19 others. There were 2 non-coms and a lieutenant in our group. We went into the building, which had its own generator and was brightly lit. Our state of extreme filth suddenly made us feel awkward. Military men of all ranks and military police were sitting facing us behind a row of long tables. An Obergefreiter came up to us, yelling as in the old days at training camp. He told us to get over to the tables to be screened. We should be ready to produce on demand the papers and equipment entrusted to us by the army. This reception only increased our sense of astonished unease. "First, your documents," an MP shouted across the table. The lieutenant, who was directly ahead of me in the line, was being interrogated. "Where is your unit, Lieutenant?" "Annihilated, Herr Gendarme. Missing or dead. We had a hard time." The MP said nothing to this, but went on leafing through the lieutenant's papers. "Did you leave your men, or were they killed?" The lieutenant hesitated for a moment. We were all watching in frozen silence. "Is this a court-martial?" The lieutenant's voice was exasperated. "You must answer my questions, Herr Leutnant. Where is your unit?" The lieutenant clearly felt caught in a trap, as did we all. Very few of us could have answered that question with any precision. He tried to explain. But there is never any point in explaining to an MP. Their powers of comprehension are always limited to the form they wish to fill. Further, it appeared that the lieutenant was missing a great many things. This fact obsessed his interrogator. It didn't matter that the man in front of him was effecting a miracle simply by staying on his feet, and had lost at least 30 pounds since entering the army. The MP only noted that the Zeiss field glasses, which are part of an officer's equipment, were missing. Also missing were a map case and the section telephone for which the lieutenant was responsible. In fact, the lieutenant, who had managed to save only his life, was missing far too many things. The army did not distribute its papers and equipment only to have them scattered and lost. A German soldier is expected to die rather than indulge in carelessness with army property. The careless lieutenant was assigned to a penal battalion, and 3 grades were stripped from his rank. At that, he could think himself lucky. The lieutenant's eyes were wild, and he seemed to be fighting for breath. He was a pitiful and terrifying sight. 2 soldiers dragged him off to the right, toward a group of broken men who'd been dealt with in the same way. Then it was my turn. I felt stiff with fright. I pulled my crumpled documents from an inside pocket. The MP riffled through them, throwing me a reproving look. His bad temper seemed to soften somewhat at the sight of my apprehensive, mortified face, and he continued his inventory in silence. Fortunately, I had been able to reintegrate with my unit, and had saved the scrap of white cardboard which stated that I had left the infirmary to take part in an attack. My head was swimming, and I thought I was going to faint. Then the MP read off a list of articles which ordinary soldiers like myself were supposed to carry at all times. The words rolled off his tongue, but I didn't catch them quickly enough, and didn't immediately produce the items still in my possession. The MP then treated me to a certain German word which I was hearing for the first time. It appeared I was missing 4 items, including that fucking gas mask I had deliberately abandoned. My paybook was passed from hand to hand to be inspected and stamped. In my panic, I made an idiotic move. Hoping to gain favour, I produced 9 unused cartridges from my cartridge belt. The MP's eyes lit on these like the eyes of an alpinist who spots a good foothold. "You are retreating?" "Ja, Herr Unteroffizier. Why didn't you try to defend yourself? Why didn't you fight? He shouted. Ja, Herr Unteroffizier. What do you mean, ja? We were ordered to retreat, Herr Unteroffizier. God damn it, to hell! He roared. What kind of an army runs without shooting? My paybook came down the line. My interrogator grabbed it and riffled the pages for a moment. His eyes travelled from the filthy, tattered page to my face. I followed the movement of his lips, which might be about to assign me a penal battalion, to the life of a prisoner, to forward positions, mine-clearing, infrequent leaves always confined to camp, so that the word liberty lost all meaning, and the cancellation of mail. I held back my tears with difficulty. Finally, the MP's rigid fingers handed back my liberty. I had not been assigned to a penal battalion, but my emotion overwhelmed me anyway. As I picked up my pack, I sobbed convulsively, unable to stop. A fellow beside me was doing the same.